All right, so this is our very first contestant here. This is Oscar Ramirez. As you can see, he's a pretty good looking guy. I think I did a pretty good job drawing him here. I'm pretty proud of him. This trophy, let's not get this confused. This is not a fantasy football trophy. It's not the Barker Bowl trophy. What it is a trophy that he's going to get from 1 million subscribers from having some good YouTube videos on his channel. And that makes sense, right? I mean, with content like this, the people are going to keep coming. But let's just go into what we have here for some pros and cons about Oscar Adrian Ramirez, this guy right here. All right, so he's got young Herb on his team, right? This guy is the rookie phenom quarterback. Why doesn't everybody have this guy's jersey yet? I don't get it. Whatever. He's the man, okay? And he's going to be the man moving forward. He's got Devontae Adams. This boy might just pop off this week. He could pop off any week and score like 4 touchdowns. Another thing about Oscar, man, this boy, he's the popcorn king, okay? He makes popcorn. He brings it up to your room. He'll leave it on the staircase for the entire night. It doesn't matter. He loves popcorn. That's his thing. Okay, now let's break it down into the cons here. He's got a serious lack of rookies on his team this year, and I think that's going to be his detriment. You know, that's his trademark. It's his calling card to have the rookies on his team, and they're what makes his team awful every year. And I think actually this year, you know, if he had some more, his team might be better. He also dropped the namesake of his team, so he doesn't have Dak on his team anymore. His team's named after Dak. That's a big foul move right there. Next, he has a very strange neck to cranium ratio. Okay, normally Oscar's neck to cranium ratio is very different than as you see here, and he has a very thick neck and a tiny head. And so his brain, he has a pretty large brain, smart guy, can't really be supported by his neck. And so that could fall off at any time. And that's our first contestant there, ladies and gentlemen. And next, we have his opponent for the week, and that is Brett Cutler. And so as you can see, Brett here, he has some tremendous hair, some tremendous locks of love. I'm pretty impressed with this drawing here. I actually wrote his name on there. That's what I thought I was going to do with everybody, but got too lazy. Okay, so let's go into the pros and cons here. The first pro is he has moved on from fantasy football this year. He's admitted that in the chat. And so, you know, it's really a pro for the rest of us that his focus isn't there anymore. His next pro is that he owns a bike. I don't know if you knew that, ladies and gentlemen, but this guy owns a bike. Next, he supports climate change, and he wants you to support it as well. That's just part of living in California, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, next, going into the cons. My guy is an elitist hiker. If you tell him you went on for a hike, he will say, F your hike. Your hike was not as good as mine. Next, I want to go into the idea that you cannot tell how he smells. He looks like he's a good guy. He looks like he was raised right, but he also looks like he probably smells kind of bad. So, you know, you can't really tell. Next, he's got Carson Wentz on his team. That's enough for that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, next, going into our third contestant here. This is John Wilson. Yes, John Wilson, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so first, for the pros. He really likes the heat, you know, that's why he lives in places like Charleston and Florida. And so what that equates to is he's cool under pressure. Actually, wait a second, I don't know why I wrote that. That's definitely not true. I'm just gonna cross that out right there. Okay, so we cross that out. Next, he enjoys working out. So he's got a smoking bod. Look at that. Look at the Adams, that boy, yeah. Next, he has some really good meetings at work, as he told us about earlier this week. So, you know, maybe that'll play out for him well this week in fantasy football, but probably not. Next, cons, his draft strategy. Usually he has a pretty bad one, just drafting some former Patriots players, and that's kind of how it worked out this year. Next, his team name. His team name, I just really don't get it. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And next, he's got some incredibly inconsistent players, and I think that just links up to his draft strategy there. And that's it for John, ladies and gentlemen. And next, If you couldn't tell, this is his opponent, and this is Mr. Joshua Dugas. And he is just a little sleepy because he's in the process of making a baby. And so, you know, he's going to be kept up all night once that baby is fully made. And that is Josh right there. Next, pros. Let's go into the pros here. He is in the regular season Hall of Fame. My guy is great at winning regular season games, but he cannot finish in the playoffs. I don't think enough is said about that, ladies and gentlemen. Next, we got a Chiefs tilt on his team. He's heavy into the Chiefs tilt, and that has fared very, very well for him. Next, he is going to have dad strength eventually. Right now, maybe not. Maybe he's halfway towards dad strength. Who knows? And lastly, he's a grown-ass man. He's a grown-ass man. I don't know if you know this about him, but he's been fixing some stuff. He's a handyman. He's told a few of us about that, about his expeditions around the house fixing stuff. I think that he recently became a plumber on the side, and that's just his thing. Okay, so next, going into the cons, you know, he's a huge Patriots fan, so I don't know why he doesn't draft more Patriots players. Next, he's addicted to Pringles, and that may be his downfall. But, you know, the major factor here is he's just really, really sleepy. Okay, so next, our next player, this is Pat. I'm sorry, Pat. I think in this picture, you look like a grown-up Tommy Pickles. But that's why I had to write that you love golf, because you just say that all the time. You always say, I love golf on Pat. Okay, so next. Whew, sorry, boys, a little winded here. I'm really excited for this. Pros. He's got a solid team name. What is it? Oh, yeah, 2 times flex offender. Yeah, pretty good team name, Pat. Good job. Next, he didn't take my advice about drafting Dalvin Cook, and that worked out really well for him. So, ladies and gentlemen, never take my advice. Next, he doesn't complain. This guy just never complains about injuries. He's the man. And then we got also cons. He didn't take my advice. So, once again, you know, it could go either way. He didn't take my advice. He definitely has given COVID to his own players, and I can't tell how he would look with a mustache. Okay, so we're gonna move along a little more quickly here. This is Sean. You can tell because he's got something on his chin. Let me get that up. He's got a lightsaber. That's Sean. Okay, so pros. He has the Force with him. He drafted his own squad this year, and he's got my guy Chris Carson. That's my guy. Okay, and he also has Terry McLaurin, who I don't know if you guys remember this, but John was talking a lot of smack about Terry, and he ended up being a wide receiver 1. He kept saying, Terry McLaurin, who's throwing to that guy, Haskins? All right, so the cons about Sean, he's not really sure what the playoffs mean. He hasn't been there yet, and he's really got to be a little bit more ruthless. I mean, look at this guy. If he wants to win, he's got to really turn it on. And lastly, he gave COVID to all his players as well. All right, and some of my favorites actually going over here. This is Dempsey, okay? Just drink it in, ladies and gentlemen. So his pros. I don't know if you knew this about Sean, but his team has had a lot of injuries. But he's got those guys back now, so, you know, it could be good for him. Next, he's got some wonderful chest hair. Check that out. Oh, my goodness. And then lastly, he's got the Dempsey charm. Other than that, there's really not too many good things to say about his team. His cons, his name. He really doesn't have a good name any year. He should really hire me to come up with his team name. And he's got an Eagle player on his team. It's escaping me right now. Oh, yeah, he's got Miles Sanders. And then lastly, he just didn't put in the time this year. He just forgot how much fantasy football meant to him. And so, you know, that's it. Okay, and this is June. Honestly, June Daddy might be my favorite drawing. June Daddy, he got some nice scotch with him. Let's do it, June Daddy. All right, pros, explosive team. This guy's team can go off any single week and drop 150 on your dome piece. He's got Kamara on his team, which is like, you know, I mean, he's the leader of the explosiveness on your team, likely to have 4 touchdowns any week. And next, I think Arjun is going to be drunk from Thursday to Sunday. You know, it's Thanksgiving week. Oh, probably Wednesday too. He's probably going out with some of his buddies. And I feel like he's just that guy who's just going to be sipping on scotch like the entire weekend. Cons, you know, maybe he'll play down. Why is Alexa talking to me right now? Alexa, Alexa, stop talking. Sorry about that, boys. All right, cons. He's going to play down his competition, this guy Dempsey right here. And he's just too much of a nice guy. He's not, like Sean, he's not ruthless enough for the playoffs. And then next, I just put playoffs because he doesn't know what the playoffs are like either. All right, sorry, boys. Got to move around here. Whoop, I shook everything. Okay. All right, so our other matchup here, this is me. I really don't think that this looks like me. I made a mistake, but just so you guys know, I put a carrot there. And so you can know that that's me. I got a huge mouth right here. Okay, so pros, I wasn't hungover on draft day. So I think I did an okay job drafting. Secondly, I helped everybody know the truth about Big Moon, that he is the real deal. Next, I defeated Dempsey. I still don't think that he has relented to me and knelt down yet. And lastly, I have elite defense, meaning other players just don't score as many points against me. That's just how it is. Next for cons, gravity, man. Gravity is always pulling me down towards the bottom of the rankings, and I'm just destined to be there. And the man is always out for me. You know, the man is always trying to keep me down. That's Brendan this year. Next, I just got great eyesight because I ate so many carrots. And next, talk about carrots, the carrot man himself. This is Ryan Belby. As you can see, he's a little bit sad because he does not have Taysom Hill on his team anymore. So pros, got some great hair color. Got some great beard color. I'm sorry I didn't do it justice here, but I think I made your beard look pretty good. I feel like if any of us were to be, he's a future TikTok star. And he's got King Henry on his team, who's very explosive. All right, so cons. His tight end does not play quarterback. His tight end's last name does not rhyme with windmill. And his tight end isn't on the Saints. That's sad, Ryan Belby. Okay, and finally, ladies and gentlemen, our last matchup here. This is Nick Heath. Probably my favorite drawing. I think I made your beard look pretty awesome here too. He's incredibly happy about it as well. His pros, he's been bad all year, and so he's kind of used to that. He's got some great keepers for next year, and I drew him well. And his cons are, he's really got a team full of backups, and is a personal thing, but he shaved his beard, and he really just put too much energy into jousting on draft day, so he couldn't really get a good team. So that's Keith. Next, we have Brendan. And as you can see, he's got some caterpillar eyebrows. I just feel like he has those. I really didn't even look at his eyebrows while I was drawing him. So pros here, he is the commissioner. I don't know if you guys remember that, but he makes the rules. So, you know, he put them into place to favor himself. He can also change the rules. And so, you know, if someone has Taysom Hill, he can take them off their team. And he can also break the rules. So that really favors him in the long run. And cons, nobody's ever seen the top of his head. So you really can't trust him. He might be hiding something up there. He has the same team name for like 6 seasons, really a lack of creativity there. And he starts a jet. He starts Jamison Crowder like every week. It's not even like a 1 week kind of thing. It's really quite sad.